Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creative Careers. We haven't done this in a while, but we're coming back to talk to some more people who are working in arts or arts related fields from all over the place. And today I'd like to go ahead and introduce our guest, Hector Velazquez, who has agreed to join us today. Thank you for joining us, Hector.
Hey, glad to be here, Hannah. How are you? Thank you.
Doing well, doing well. Let's start off by just explaining what do you do? What is your what do you do that's related to the arts?
Well, it starts off with it's marketing and advertising, and the component of that, there's a lot of brainstorming that goes to it. But after the brainstorming, there's so many things that just really relate to art. When it comes to the graphic design, when it comes to the colors, when it comes to the audios, when it comes to the components of visualizing what the end product would look like, everything and every step, and every one of our team members uh, plays a key component of each of those, let's say 30-second commercials. If we were to do those, it is mind-blowing how much creativity has to be put in place and how much art plays along.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes so much sense. So let's talk a little bit about how you got here. When did you first realize that this was something you were interested in? What did you do to make this happen?
Very good question. I realized this when I saw communication to me has always been key for growth for, I apply it in personal life and work. And I always liked creating something and visualizing what the impact would be on folks. So when we created a commercial, the expressions that I got to see from folks made me feel like whether I was doing something creative or something that needed some work. But how I got to this is really just being very observant. I think I grew up very, very observant on how people would react to certain things when they would go, to a concert, or when they would watch a TV series, or whether they just listen to the radio. Those emotions that come out of folks really moved me. So then I think gradually I started moving into creating content that would actually apply and make an impact of an emotional impact on what we do.
And I'm curious, just as far as the logistics of it, did you get did you go to college for marketing? Did you fall into this job? How did you end up getting to be able to do this?
Well, as you know, I'm bilingual, so then this is the communication piece for me because I either spoke English or Spanish. I grew up with two cultures and trying to understand both cultures with something that the beginning was challenging, but over time, I realized that I was in a great position to learn two cultures, two wonderful countries that would allow me to again express either or in each respective language. I grew up in Napa Valley, so that's where I did pretty much my grammar school and high school. And then I moved over to Guadalajara, Jalisco in Mexico. And I did a international business down there for 2 years. And then moved back here and I did some college over at the Napa College. And that just gradually started moving into applying my work. I took some courses here at the JC, but essentially I was already running when everything just came, to be about. And I think it was just a very neat position that I was put in when I realized how will we implement, art into what we're doing.
Yeah, awesome. So that connects to my next question. I'd like to know, so part of the point of this series is letting students know all the many different ways that if they're interested in art that they can use it in their careers. So I'd like to know, you talked a little bit about the creativity needed for this. I'd love to hear what makes this work really unique among other arts related careers, maybe especially for people who might go in with the same similar skill sets but do something different, somebody who decides to be a painter instead of a graphic designer. So what makes this work stand out?
I think overall, what we really pride ourselves is being ahead of technology. One, there's just so many great things. When even a lot of these TikToks that you're seeing, a lot of folks that they're pretty popular right now. Essentially, that's art. They have to be creative on how to play some of the key text that it's on there, or how they put a song in the background, the intro, the outro. Those things, I can assure you that students are actually already doing art. They without them knowing, this is something that plays a key role in what we do, especially in marketing and advertising. It is the I want to say the principle and foundation of first really getting to have that. All right, if I do this, I who doesn't want more likes? Who doesn't want more followers? they're all striving to do that. So essentially, that's exactly what our career and what our field is to create that emotional impact. Nowadays, you have so many tools and resources to be able to do that, and it's really within hand's reach. For anybody that wants to pursue a career like this, that whatever skill they have, they could be great artists, or they could really have a really good ear for music, or they can visualize something and be a really good writer. All those fundamentals and components really fall into what we believe in, and it's really our foundation of art, and within our field.
Yeah. You talked about the how great it was for you to see the impact of the work that you've been doing. Would you say that is that your favorite part of the work that you do? Is that your favorite part of the job, your favorite thing about it?
I think that honestly, the favorite part is when I start visualizing. i- because I start really thinking of all the different components we can put together based on a script or based on a vision. And when you start, it's like a little baby. Like every single thing that we do, it's a little component that we're adding until you see the end product and you see it. I'm like, okay, well, let's launch it and see what happens. And when it does have that impact, absolutely, it's like a child that you see walking or doing something for the first time. You really get super excited. But I think it's really all stages. I couldn't say that I have one favorite one. I really truly believe it's the entire journey from anything that we do from start to the ending.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk just a little bit about what were you talked about kind of your journey to get here. What were some of the skills that you had to work on to get to the level where you are? Things that for this job specifically that either artistically or other skills that you really had to work on for yourself.
Interesting you say that. We also do what we call in-store radio. So if you walk into a supermarket, you'll hear music, and then you'll also hear some ads playing in the background. So when I first started this whole thing, I had a vision. I know what I needed, but I didn't have a voiceover. So I recorded my own voice, and I thought, well, I can get away with it. So I walked into one of these supermarkets, and the owner says, "That voice gots to go. It's not good." And I said, I fired the guy. I told him not to come back ever again. So learning how to tweak your voice for and adapt it to for a stage, in this case a supermarket, there you definitely have to learn how to pitch that voice and what to do. Implementing or developing the skills that I needed to do also, of course, needed to be studying what market we're going to be reaching, how are we going to reach it. Want to make sure we don't offend anyone. Nowadays there's just a lot of sensitivity, so we need to be respectful and embrace every culture and make sure that we are not just being invasive. We want to be more inclusive. So those are the skills that as I grew, our community itself is very diverse. So it's not just about one or two race. We have multiple races. So being careful and ensuring that all those aspects are uh, developed creatively, but again, not non-invasive. I think it's something that we definitely have to continue to educate ourselves. But yeah, that voice, I'm gonna get it one day. I know I'm gonna get that voice.
Gonna be the ad in
Got
the in
that?
the
Yes,
store.
absolutely, absolutely.
So you talked about growing up in two different cultures,
Mhm.
and I would love to hear how that affects this. That you need to know the market, you need to know different people. How does knowing these two different cultures help you in this work?
Well, again, visually, we know that in Mexico that there's the culture is very rich. So meaning you got so many traditions that your ancestors provided for hundreds and hundreds of years, and trying to learn everything and trying to absorb it, creating friends, creating the streets, how just the building complex, how a city runs. It's so much different than when you come to the U.S. I remember first time coming to the U.S. The lights were just brighter, the streets were wider. There's so many things that visually I absorbed, and I knew that there was a huge difference. My dad had the tendency to stay a couple of years here in the U.S. and then go back to Mexico, so he was not very stable. At one point, I thought, "Hey, Dad, this. I mean, I create friends, and then we have to go back, and then it goes back and forth." But as I grew older, that the benefit of actually being able to do that was huge, because each stage of our lives, I truly believe our mindsets continues to develop. So at that stage, that's where we absorb some of the things that are in front of us. So going from a very young to teenage to adult, all those three phases, we had the ability to go back and forth. And all those components really helped me develop to where, we are at. It wasn't easy, I think adapting was it, but I think that's really put us in the position that we are in, or that I am in now, because of the ability to have done that, being able to grow into different cultures.
Yeah, I love that. I like that a lot. So our final thought. So this is something that maybe a lot of students haven't thought of as something that they could do, but I like how you talked about how it kind of incorporates all these different kinds of there have to be performance, there have to be graphic design concepts and creativity. So what is something that if a kid is watching this and thinks that sounds really cool, I think I'd like to do that. What's something that they could do right now from home this week to improve on maybe some of these skills that would be useful in the future?
You know, honestly, I can't say this enough, and I do this myself. I go to my kids to learn a little bit more of what they're doing on TikTok, because I'm not a TikToker. And if there's anything that they improve on, whether it is graphic design, and they're very artistic, the color palettes definitely are very, very important, and be able to blend different color schemes for different things. As everything has a theme, each client that we work with has their own color, so being respectful of those colors. So that's one component. Another component definitely is just the development, and the if a lot of our children now are entertainers. They really love to entertain. My 8-year-old, he entertains us every single day at dinner. It's like his goal to entertain us. But feedback definitely is, there's a lot of resources. They're easier to grab. We always welcome anyone who's interested. We can definitely help them, support them, provide them any type of just tools in this case, if they want. But right now, again, I'll repeat it again, is because of how easy technology is. The ability to include music, voiceovers. You can change your voice now if you want to. I definitely would encourage to apply and to do what they really love the best. I think a lot of our kids get deviated from what they love, and they're not getting the opportunity. So just stay strong on what they truly believe in. Everything that they're doing, I can assure you, really comes back to art.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much for talking with us today, Hector. This has been really cool.
My pleasure. Thank you, Hannah. Have a great day.
All right, folks, that's our interview. Come back next week at 3:30 for another Let's Be Creative video. And don't forget to watch all of our Latino Heritage Month videos that are happening all through mid-October. So we'll see you then.